Episode 3, Season 1, Prehistoric Planet, we get to focus on the freshwater habitats. We see long winding river channels, breathtaking landscape, and incomparable scenery. Look at this place, it's like a paradise. Oh my god, I can't get over the scenery of this show. Good grief. So we have these pterosaurs flying around, and what I find so interesting, every time I look at animals, every time I look at documentaries about animals, I always try to get into the minds of the animals. Of course, a lot of it is anthropomorphizing and also projecting human emotions on them, which I understand. That's not what animals do, but it is fun to imagine it because that's the only way our minds work, you know? And just imagine them flying to this area and them all being in a community. Imagine families who haven't seen each other for a very long time coming back to these same grounds and reintroducing themselves. Look, like this part right here where the pterosaurs are on the ledge and this new person comes up. He's obviously younger and smaller than the rest of them. And they're like, who do you think you are? You can't sit here, bro. Go over there, bro. You haven't earned your stripes. Get out of here. Did you see that guy? And I can imagine this one pterosaur. Probably gonna make a story about him. I usually look at creatures in these documentaries before I do my POVs or stories, and I choose a creature. And I'm like, that guy right there, I want to tell his story. And that guy right there, I want to tell his story. I'm gonna call him Theon, because he looks like Theon Greyjoy. But like I look at these guys, and then there's one back there. I think that's either a female or a very young one. The angle is different. But I like the other thing that they do, which is to show so much variety within individuals. They have the same model, and there's so many differences. I don't know if you've noticed it, but in the markings, in the face shape, the scars on their beaks, you can see so much variety and uniqueness in each and every one of the individuals if you look close enough. The fact that they added that much detail to make it look realistic is just astounding to me. Is this Unreal Engine? I don't know, but everything looks so breathtaking. So anyway, the pterosaurs are all there. They're all coming in. A lot of them, I imagine, are probably making this journey for the first time. Can you imagine what that feels like as a pterosaur? I'm trying to keep it together. Can you imagine what that feels like for the first time as a pterosaur who is coming here for the first time? Like, a lot of them are coming from other places. They're venturing here. There's some who probably grew up here and left, but there are some coming to this place. Imagine the sights and sounds, seeing other pterosaurs like you, being one with the adult community, knowing that you made this big journey on your own and now you're here. Oh my god, that must be so amazing. This is basically like the Great Valley to these creatures. Oh my god, this is unreal. And like, here's an example of what I'm talking about, right? This is the attention to detail these guys pay. So this pterosaur right here, you'll notice certain things like they have a little scuffle on their beak right here, and you have the white marking around the ridge here, and then you have this stripe. You see this little backwards question mark white stripe that comes down on his cheek there? See how skinny it is? You have that, and then you have a kind of double stripe coming down the neck right next to it. And on this one, you can see that it has that white marking, but look at the stripe on his cheek coming down here. It's much thicker. It's way more filled in than this one. It also has a lighter stripe coming down here before transitioning into the thicker stripe that is more towards the back of the neck. While this one's looks like a solid one with either a darker stripe down the middle or just two very skinny lines. Like, that attention to detail is something that makes me love this documentary even more.
There is safety in numbers.
I do love the sound that one of them makes. When he comes up to the others, they're all like chilling out and sparring with each other. And this random one comes up and like, who are you? What kind of sound is that? So everyone's having a party. Everyone's settling down. They're probably like, yo, for the night, we're gonna do some races. We're gonna do some activity. We're gonna get some sucky going on with the new bitches. Everyone's having fun. And the narrator says that, you know, there's not any predators here. This is a place far high up. It's basically like a vacation for them. Some of them coming back to their ancestral home, but a lot of them are coming here and they're just chilling out because they know that nothing can get them here. They're completely at ease and totally relaxed, and they're about to experience a creepypasta moment when freaking velociraptors freaking velociraptors are showing up, and oh my god, the velociraptor is my favorite. I did not think years ago, when we found out that dinosaurs had feathers, that I would ever take a velociraptor seriously that was clothed in feathers like a freaking turkey. Now looking at this creature, the elegance, look how beautiful she is. Like the way they made her look, I love how they kept the raptor persona and made her face and her attitude look like an eagle. Look at her, she looks like a hawk or an eagle. I can believe that this creature evolved into this creature, a bird that looks like a predator. I already have a story about this female raptor who I nicknamed Una and her little friends here. I have a whole backstory for them. It's so exciting. You guys are not gonna believe this. But when I saw this beautiful creature scale down from the hills and taking her prey down the cliff with her, not only did it remind me of the snow leopard who was chasing after her prey and scaling down the rocks, but then she caught her prey and then fell down the cliff. I think they took this right from out of this scene right here with the snow leopard hanging onto her prey and not even fazed by getting bashed by the rocks below, I swear. And this female raptor did the same thing when her prey drops. She's like, no, Geronimo, I have much too much of this to lose. And she uses her tail to kind of directional position herself so she can get her prey, and she's totally fine. The way that her descendants would pull a prey off of the cliff so that it could bash its body down below. The intelligence that these hawks or eagles use to do this is exactly what I see echoed here. And you can see that the velociraptors blend in so perfectly with their environment. Like if you see them, if you weren't looking really well, you would think that they were rocks. And again, you can see the differences. Obviously, the males are sexual dimorphism. The males look different than the females. They have tricolored coats or feathers. You can see this guy has this Ulysses beard thing going on here. While this guy doesn't have the beard, but he has like a white line stripe around his mouth. Just seeing how beautiful these creatures are and how they utilize their tails to balance and move up the rocks. And it shows you a precursor to how they eventually took flight. This was my favorite part of the episode, and it was my favorite part of the show thus far when I reached episode 3. Just seeing these velociraptors hunt and seeing the female outsmart them. The fact that she left them to defend themselves made me think that either she was their boss or she was not initially part of their pack. And right here when she fell, I really thought she got hurt. I was so scared. Like the whole time, I wasn't even worried about the pterosaurs. I was just worried about her. I was like, please don't let her get killed. And as soon as she smashed the rock, these people are so evil. They dramatized it and slowed it down, and the music sounded all weird so we would think that something bad happened to her. Right there, we thought that something bad happened. Or like, oh no, she's fallen. But she's a badass and she got back up and killed her prey. Everything I felt before when I found out dinosaurs had feathers just completely left with this. Seeing the velociraptors in action makes them look more terrifying. And now when I look at velociraptors with no feathers on them, they look stupid. They used to look stupid with the feathers. Now after this portrayal, now they look more stupid. They look like plucked turkeys. Like this is how they're supposed to look. I also love the segment about this old Tyrannosaurus Rex. He has battle scars from the Triceratops that he just killed. There's a story behind him because he lost the tip of his tail. He has a lot of scars all over his body. So he was someone who was in a lot of fights, probably with other T-Rexes and prey that he's taken down. He also ends up meeting a female. And it's so interesting the way that they show the interaction between the male Tyrannosaurus Rex and the female Tyrannosaurus Rex. He obviously looks really interested in her, and she's like, hi, I've heard stories. I'm gonna saunter over to you so you can watch my hips swang. It's really cute to see the T-Rexes courting each other. You can also see the difference between the male and female with his colorations and with his throat being red. I like how the female just watches him like the female birds watch the males when they're courting them. One thing I probably would have done differently because of this behavior is I would have made the T-Rexes bright colors. Birds evolved from these dinosaurs, right? And birds are very vision-oriented creatures. They listen and they look. They look and they listen. That's how they view their world. Those are the common senses that they use. Some of them use scent more than others, but most of them use visual cues, which is why their feathers are also so bright. It's why the females use that as a marker to tell which male is virile or which male is the one possessing the best genetics. So the fact that the female's looking at him, they use this excuse that, oh, it's the battle scars that she sees on him that makes her think that he's a good mate because he's won many. But honestly, I don't think a T-Rex would be looking at that. Okay, in like my little unofficial stories or fan fictions, that probably would be the case, but in real life, I don't think this would be the case. I think it would be how brightly colored he is or how strong he looks or him bringing her a gift or some crap like that. Either that or this female is just, this is the first male she's run across and she's like, I haven't gotten piped in a long time, so let's just do this. Who knows? She might be like another bird, and after he's done mating with her a few times, she might find somebody else to mate with as well. Now, this part was something that was very intriguing to me. I did find this dinosaur a while back, and I was right. There were a few dinosaurs that I thought this thing was, and then I found one, and it's called the Dinochirus, a very strange-looking creature that looks like a cross between a Spinosaurus, an emu, and a duck-billed dinosaur. What I did not enjoy about this section of the episode were all the flies that were all over him. And you could see him actually getting irritated and the buzzing noises. My ears are so sensitive to that. I can't take it. It makes me go rabid. So seeing him in the situation, like even recording this right now, oh God, it's making me feel itchy and disgusting. I can't look at this. I can't. I felt the relief he probably felt when he was scratching. But the whole time I was watching this, I was just thinking to myself, dude, just submerge yourself in water, bro. He's very beautiful to look at, but he looks like a water vulture, and it just looks like he's very uncomfortable while he's eating. And the next part I hate is this part. Did they really have to show his shit? Did they really have to show that? It's freaking nasty. Yo, let's bring the camera down here so we can get a macro shot of his shit floating and sinking into the water. And then breaking up into tiny pieces and executing gas. That was the part I was like, okay, I'm done with this dinosaur. I don't want to see anymore right now. It's such a freaking gross. But all is made better when we see a female Quetzalcoatlus who flies to lay her eggs onto an island created by the flooding banks. I'm surprised that it's going to take months for her eggs to hatch. What is sad is that she spends all this time watching over her eggs only to leave them shortly after because she has to feed herself. Is that how they sleep? She looks cute and scary at the same time because like her eyes are open.
One eye open when I'm sleeping. I
love how when she's laying her eggs, she looks like she's furry twerking or something. It just looks weird. It's just like...
Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like.
What's sad is that an older female ends up killing her babies. And I honestly thought they were toast until we see the mother return and successfully fight off the older female who gets her ass handed to her and has no choice but to fly away. Yeah, you're not building your nest here. It's very sad to see that the mother came this far only to leave for a small while after hiding her eggs to have them destroyed by another member of her species. Luckily, 3 eggs were remaining. I enjoyed seeing the Machikosaurus with her children, and there's like a really heartbreaking situation. Like, it looks all sweet, and I could see the backstory for these as well. Her 3 babies all have their own personalities, and one is extremely brave. And usually you think that the really brave one is the one who's gonna grow up to be a mighty hunter. I also love how the babies have more down and they're a different color than their mother. They have this green landscape-like color, so I guess if she has to hide them, they're the same color as the brush, so it's harder for predators to find them. But out here on the open beach, they are easily seen, especially if they're small little tiny moving things. The mother tries to tell her son, hey, you need to be careful, you're straying too far away from me. And then the unthinkable happens, and this part was actually really sad. He's just trying to hunt. He's just trying to employ what his mother taught him, and as he runs to get the crab, he gets scared by this Beelzebufo thing. I didn't even know that there was a name for it. Just the fact that Beelzebub is in its name tells you everything you need to know. And the siblings have to watch as their brother gets eaten. The mother, like the look on her face, like total shock. I know this is probably not what's happening, but she looked even more sad than the T-Rex father did. She looked like she saw a piece of herself die in front of her. Oh, that's so sad. Oh my god, I feel so bad. Like, you could tell, like, she really was upset. And we could say, okay, dinosaurs didn't feel this way, but I've seen birds, how they react with one another. And there are cases where birds will lose a partner or a mate, and they do display grief. Birds do have feelings. They know what it feels like when their partner's dead. I've seen birds trying to revive their partners. They stop eating once you remove one of the birds from the enclosure. Like, it's really heartbreaking. And so if these dinosaurs are intelligent enough to form bonds, they're going to feel when they've bonded to someone. Even parrots and certain birds of prey like owls or hawks will form a bond with a human being. When that human is gone, they do feel a sense of loss. So the episode closes off with the channels giving rise to sea creatures that make their way upon land. I can imagine, like, from the land creatures looking at this, they're like, what the hell is that? I could swear it looks like a sauropod, but it's swimming under the water. I can also imagine for the elasmosaurs what this must be like for them. Like, all of this stuff was land. This is completely new territory. It's like exploration for them into space. And as I head out back to the sea, they use the opportunity to hunt for all the fish that are right there where the brackish and saltwater meets. And it's a glorious thing to behold. It's so beautiful. I still don't know why their necks are like this. I have to look that up. I'm actually really curious as to why the elasmosaurs or plesiosaurs evolved to have long necks under the ocean with flippers in a body. I get creatures that have long bodies with no legs, like eels and sea snakes. I get creatures that have flippers and big bodies like whales. I don't get the whole in-between thing. Like, that just to me is like so inefficient. It makes no sense. I know it doesn't have to make sense as evolution, but what in the natural selection or evolution caused these creatures to maintain really long necks that are longer than their bodies? The world may never know. Anyways, this was a wonderful episode. Again, one of my favorite things to watch on TV right now. I absolutely love it so much. I'm so scared because I know we have 2 episodes left at the time of me watching this, and I don't want this to be over. I think when it's over, I'm just going to go back and watch it again, which is part of the reason why I wanted to do the POV stories, because it's something more that I can get from this. So if you guys want to go ahead and listen to the POV stories, go visit Logicaholic. I have, at the time of this video, I had 2 videos out where I'm taking it from the point of view of the Dreadnoughtus and the T-Rex family. I really enjoy doing these stories, and for me, it feels like I'm getting to go deeper into these worlds. I love telling stories. My dream in the whole wide world is to actually, don't tell anyone, but to make this my main channel, because storytelling is my hobby. It is absolutely something that I was born to do. Since I could talk, I was making up stories in my head. Ask any other INFP, they love creating worlds and they have vivid imaginations, and it's something I love. What's awesome is that I get to share it with people, and what's even more awesome is that you end up getting paid for it someday. And the bonus on top of that is that a lot of the people have told me, unless they're blowing smoke up my ass, that have come there, that I've inspired them to start writing again. And that makes me so happy. It makes me so happy. I've heard so many other artists and writers who used to do their art and they used to write a lot, and they just got so busy and they stopped doing what they love to do because life just got in the way. I almost got to that point, and it makes me happy that my little stupid stories could be the inspiration to someone who would probably turn out to be 100 times better than me in the future. I'm so humbled by that. I'm so thankful. And really just thank you guys for everything. I know I'm feeling so mushy right now. It's probably the mood that the show put me in, but you guys are so amazing. Whether you're here for a little while, whether you're here for the long run, whether you hate me or love me, thank you for giving me a chance. Thanks for stopping by. And thanks so much for watching. This has been Ultiori. You ask, we answer.